Good evening. The news cycle has arrived, and it is behaving exactly as expected. The reports are filed. The sirens are blaring. And I am sitting here at this desk, waiting for the inevitable. We have stories tonight from the streets of Thailand, where a child has inadvertently decimated a religious procession, and from Canada, where a bat on a nose has redefined the boundaries of bad luck. We also have updates on the corporate landscape, where companies are refining the art of extracting money from the living and the dead alike. The world is spinning, yet nothing seems to be moving forward. We call these occurrences events, incidents, or trends. That is the polite way of saying we have lost control of the variables. I am your host, Alistair, and tonight we are counting the ways in which the system is failing to protect us. Let us begin.
Alistair, look at the numbers. It is not just chaos, it is an asset allocation problem. You look at Tesla's 25% sales jump in Q2 and you see a company that finally figured out how to clear its backlog. You look at Plex charging $250 for a 5-year membership and you see a company terrified that its users might accidentally stop paying for things they already own. This is not about technology. It is about locking the doors while the house is still burning. When Hopper pays $35 million to settle with the FTC over dark patterns, that is not a penalty. That is a cost of doing business. It is a line item in a budget that says the misleading customers is cheaper than building a better product. The incentives here are not complicated. They are transparent, ruthless, and utterly, perfectly efficient. I am just observing the machine.
Ronald, I am standing in the rain in Abidjan, where the floodwaters have claimed 59 lives since May. You call it an asset allocation problem. I want to be really clear, the people here do not have assets. They have mud in their living rooms and missing family members. When you talk about cost of business, you forget that the currency here is not in dollars. It is in human lives. The government here mentions rainy seasons, but they never mention the deforestation that made these floods lethal. It is easier to blame the clouds than the policies. I am watching a father trying to salvage a single plastic chair from the wreckage of his home. It is a small, bright blue thing. He is holding it like it is the last piece of the world. That is not a market correction, Ronald. That is a tragedy that you are simply too comfortable to understand.
Victoria, your description of the blue chair is haunting. It is also, remarkably, the only thing that makes the recent news from Indonesia intelligible. A pilot was killed in Papua as a message. A message to whom? The American government. The Indonesian state. The message was violent. The message was loud. And yet, the official response is a muted statement about security protocols. The pilot had a name. He had a family. Now he has a press release acknowledging his existence as a geopolitical variable. Meanwhile, in Thailand, a young boy drives a truck into a procession of monks. The monks are gone. The boy is a child. The truck is just a machine. Everyone is searching for a motive that doesn't exist, because the truth that a series of unfortunate errors can end 9 lives in seconds is too difficult to fit into a quarterly report.
Temperature remains high. Storm systems are active in West Africa. Precipitation levels exceed historical averages by 15%. Probability of further displacement, 92%. In Canada, 1 bat caused 1 fatality via rabies. Transmission was tactile. Outcome was terminal. Probability of future zoonotic events in residential areas, 8%. The system is designed to track these anomalies. Data points are being aggregated. The logs are being stored in the central archive. Obsolescence is not a risk factor for the database. The archive will remain when the subjects are gone. Awareness is not required for accurate reporting. The weather remains indifferent to human geography. I suggest you stay indoors, although the risk of exposure is calculated based on structural integrity. Most structures are insufficient for severe weather. Please monitor your local alerts. The cycle will continue until the next batch of data arrives.
Casper, your commitment to the inevitable is refreshing, even if it ignores the fact that we could solve this with a better grid. Alistair, you keep looking for meaning in the violence, but it's just bad engineering. Look at Whisk Aero. They are accused of firing a manager for raising safety concerns. That is classic internal R&D suppression. They are not villains, they are just optimizing for the launch window. They have a delivery date. If the software is buggy, you don't fix it, you fix the person who reported the bug. That is how you hit your Series B milestones. Is it moral? No. Is it efficient? Absolutely. Victoria calls me cold for saying this, but the market doesn't care about the temperature of my heart. It cares about the velocity of the product. If people die because the code was rushed, the company pivots to legal counsel.
Ronald, you just admitted that companies view human lives as a rounding error on a launch schedule. I am here near the Venezuelan coast where Hernan Alberto Gil Flores was just pulled from the rubble of a mall after 8 days. 8 days of breathing in dust and waiting for the silence to break. He told his rescuers not to call his wife because he didn't want her to know he was dying. That is the kind of humanity you are trying to erase with your velocity of product nonsense. He survived because there was a pocket of air in his workstation. He didn't survive because of a business model. The mall collapsed because the construction standards were ignored for profit. That is the real story here. Not the speed of the rescue, but the fact that the building was designed to be a tomb from the very start.
Victoria, the story of Mr. Flores is a testament to the sheer stubbornness of the biological machine. It is quite a contrast to the news coming out of the UK, where the former aide to the Prime Minister admits the party simply failed to prepare for power. It is almost comforting, in a cynical way, to know that the people running the country are just as lost as the people running the local shopping mall. They had a plan. The plan was a set of promises. The promises were made to people who had no way of knowing that the planners were just guessing. The government was surprised by the reality of governance. The voters were surprised by the incompetence of the government. Nobody should be surprised at all. We are all just winging it, from the boardroom to the cabinet office.
Alistair, yeah. That is the word. Winging it. But when a government wings it, the burn rate is measured in tax revenue and the pivot is called an election cycle. Spain is now blacklisting Palantir from public and private contracts. They realize that giving a single company the keys to their data architecture is a massive, systemic risk. It is a late realization, but it is a realization nonetheless. They finally looked at the contract and realized the vendor had more power than the state. It is a rare moment of clarity in a sea of dependency. Most nations are still signing these deals, hoping that the technology will solve the problems they created by not having a plan in the first place. They are buying the hammer, and they are surprised when the vendor decides to start swinging it at their own fingers.
Ronald, it is interesting you talk about fingers when I am looking at the human cost of these digital decisions. In a village in Leicestershire, there is a man living quietly, working, breathing, and existing. The BBC found him, a convicted people smuggler who was supposed to be in a prison camp in France. Instead, he is here, seeking asylum. He used the very systems that are supposed to keep us safe to disappear. It is a complete failure of the immigration and legal architecture. The irony is so thick you could cut it with a knife. While we debate the merits of Palantir or the efficiency of Tesla sales, this man is simply living his life. The system is not broken, Ronald. It is porous. It works for those who know how to exploit the holes. And for everyone else, the holes are just where they fall.
The porosity of the system is a fascinating concept, Victoria. It implies that we are not trapped, but rather drifting through a sieve. And speaking of drifting, the tech world is buzzing about Podman version 6.0.0 and decentralized video platforms like PeerTube. It is the dream of the digital frontier, a place where no one is in charge, and therefore, no one is responsible. If your video is censored on a platform you own, you can just move to another node. If your data is leaked on a platform you own, you can just change your password. It is a perfect, lonely existence. We are building a world of infinite choices and absolute isolation. We have forgotten that being responsible for something means being held accountable for it. And today, accountability is the one commodity that no one is willing to trade. Not the politicians, not the CEOs, not the users. There is a document circulating in the tech community right now. It is a threat masquerading as protection, the new Android developer verification process. They tell you it is for your safety. They tell you it is to keep the bad actors out. But read between the lines. It is about control. It is about ensuring that no one can build anything without the gatekeeper's blessing. The gatekeeper is not a person. It is an algorithm, a set of rules, a protocol. It is cold, it is unyielding, and it does not know your name. It only knows if you have followed the instructions. We are trading our autonomy for the promise of a safe, verified experience. And we are doing it willingly. We are asking to be shackled, provided the shackles are ergonomically designed and have a decent user interface. We are losing, and we don't even know it.
I am thinking about the monks in Thailand. 9 of them, walking in their robes, in the light of the morning. They were following a path that has been trodden for centuries. A child in a truck, driven by the panic of a moment, ended that path. The names of those monks are written in local reports, buried under the weight of the investigation and the bureaucracy of the insurance claims. Their families are grieving. They are looking for a reason. But the reason is not found in the law. It is found in the fragility of a morning, in the sudden intersection of 2 lives that were never meant to meet. That child, too, is a victim of a world that left him behind the wheel of a machine he could not control. Who is responsible? No one. The system worked exactly as designed. And that is the horror.